So welcome everyone. I hope you are doing well. Thank you very much for joining us today. My name is Marian and I am an international marketing specialist at the University of Tartu. I am very happy to welcome you to the Alumni Talks 2023 event, and I will be your host today. So Alumni Talks is our new series where our fantastic alumni share their story of studying at the University of Tartu, and they will give a short lecture on a topic they chose. So today I am here with Hamza, who has a master's degree in Geoinformatics for Urbanised Society from the University of Tartu. He describes himself as a wonk with a passion for data and possesses expertise in all things data, solving puzzles with data to draw conclusions and reveal meaningful insights. And today he will talk about the symbiosis of geodata and AI, the next big thing in geoinformatics. And also a little housekeeping before we get started. If you have any questions during the webinar, please leave them to the Q&A box and we will address them at the end of the webinar. Also, if you have any technical difficulties, please contact us and we will try to help you resolve them. And we are also recording today's talk and all participants will receive a recording after the webinar. But now, without further ado, I would like to give a floor to our presenter today. So Hamza, if you are ready, you can start.
Yeah, thanks, Marian. I will just quickly share my screen and just give me a go if you can see it.
Yes, all good.
Okay. So, hello, everyone, and thanks again, Marian, for this introduction. She already introduced, my name is Hamza, and I have finished my master's in geoinformatics from session 2019 to 21. So today, my topic of talk is symbiosis of geodata and AI, how we can combine artificial intelligence and spatial data, because we all know this artificial intelligence is buzz all these days, and it's like really helpful. So we can, I will just give you brief information and along with like my experience where I am currently working and everything, and how we are using this artificial intelligence and spatial data for a solution. And before that, a little background of me. So I'm a geospatial engineer and a certified data analyst. That's I've been doing pretty much all my life, my professional experience. And I have 6 years of experience in geospatial domain. Originally, I'm from Pakistan, but I was living for a couple of years in UAE. And now I am living in Estonia for more than three and a half years now. And I'm currently working in EyeVi Technologies. This is an Estonian startup where my day-to-day work is 3D data. I handle 3D data and process automation. And my research interests are in smart and sustainable cities. This is in which I've also did my master's thesis using human mobility data to analyze different mobility flows in the neighborhoods of Tartu. So before the actual topic, I would go briefly that why I chose University of Tartu and why this study program. Other than the obvious that I've already have been working in a GIS field, but since I am a data analyst, so I try to quantify things and do comparative analysis. So when I wanted to choose go for the masters, my reason for University of Tartu that it's like it have like good world ranking, and other than that, doing this comparative analysis with the other courses that were also offered the main thing about this program was it's like the best laid curriculum. The second thing was this was because I wanted something like that. The most of the course is in like practical format. I guess like this 1/4 of the program is actually in the studio format, and like mostly it's practical. So apart from my master thesis, I did like in my whole study program, I did like 2 major and like 5 minor projects. So this is also a good thing to like build up your portfolio and everything. So, and okay, another thing that was like the main thing that while comparing this program with other programs that were offered in Department of Geography, there is like the research groups, they are doing like more advanced and like there is more versatility. So if you are not sure at the moment that, okay, which domain I want to choose, you have like more wider options to choose from, like for your research. Okay. Now we'll like talk about a little bit about what are like these emerging domains in geoinformatics. So we know like we currently live in like information society. There's like too much data everywhere. So I can't even pronounce that word. Like I've just Googled it. Like in 2021, it was approximately 2.5 quintillion bytes of data that was produced. So all of this data which is getting produced, in most of this data, in one way or another, have a spatial component with it. So, for example, data set we are capturing for like IoT, satellite data, 3D data. So all of these data sets have like spatial information. So let's say IoT data, it's being used for like building framework of smart cities, real-time revolution, as we say, for example, like from ride hailing or active transport modes. They are all producing tons of data. Satellites, which are like roaming all around, like producing tons and tons of data. And this is kind of now my favorite because I am in this domain, 3D and LiDAR data, which have like, it's still like really young, and still there's a lot of research going on in this, like self-driving vehicles, augmented reality, digital twins, and assets management. So now we know that we are producing so much of data is getting produced. How we can do good with this data? How we can just there's this explosion of amount of available information. So how can we take best advantage from data? So this is where artificial intelligence and machine learning comes to the rescue, because you can't do manually all of that thing. So combining geodata and artificial intelligence, sometimes we call it spatial AI, GeoAI, both are like all have the same meaning. So, but why this specific branch? Because we know this, the algorithms that will work typically in like normally in, let's say, computer vision or language processing, they won't be as efficient while dealing with geospatial data because of its significant geospatial nature. Example, autocorrelation, its geometric nature, the multiple modalities. That's why it led to make this separate subset, GeoAI, and it have like multiple usages. For example, deep learning for remote sensing and image classification, point cloud classification, change detection, forecasting, we can say prediction and predictive analysis as well. So it have all these applications. Imagine if we are not using artificial intelligence or machine learning. Let's assume if, for example, Landsat satellite, it captures like data, and you have to manually classify the data even for one day. So imagine how labor intensive, cost intensive it would be. And sometimes these data sets are like too huge that due to its mammoth size, you can't even sometimes it's impossible to classify those data sets manually. So also, like for example, if you are, I can give you like more another example. University of Tartu, our Department of Geography, we had this. We have different sites around Tartu where they capture. They have installed the sensors to capture like environmental data. Imagine you, and these sensors are capturing data day in, day out. So imagine you would have to classify, you have to like classify, or you have to work with that data. You have to do all the thing works manually. So that would be a tedious work. So this is where this digitalization, automation, and artificial intelligence is needed, because you can't do everything manually. And these big data analytics and digitalization automation can help us in doing all this. So before coming to like the main thing, let's assume for a moment that I don't know, I don't want to use artificial intelligence, and I have to, so let's assume in a hypothetical situation, I am a person who is overseeing roadworks or this, let's say, infrastructure management thing. So in my area, I have to figure out how many number of roads are there, how many lanes, crossroads, overheads, and culverts. Like all the what is the infrastructure there? Till this point, I can say, okay, that I can do that like one-time survey manually, and it would be still time consuming. But let's assume I've done it. But at this point, I'm a bit tired. But I'm not done yet. Still have to find answers for like how many road markings are there and how much of those needs repair. And at this point, I'm getting annoyed because it's manual work and it's getting too much for me. But I'm still not done. So then I have to figure out how much road signs are they in good shape? They need some replacement or anything. There are any vertical and horizontal obstacles. By this point, I'm exhausted. But I'm still not. So finally, we have to also figure out like what is like the road situation. If there are road damages, there are potholes in there. So at this point, I am literally crying. And we have to bear in mind that this is not like a one-time thing. It's an iterative process. So let's say you have done, then you again have to do, and it's practically, it's not sustainable. And keeping this thing in mind, this EyeVi Technologies, where I am working right now, this kind of thing gave birth to EyeVi Technologies. So we came up with this solution that where we will use artificial intelligence to classify road defects and make the road infrastructure management. So what exactly is EyeVi Technologies? We are like, as I told you, we are a startup from Estonia. It was originated in Tartu, in this city. But we have offices in Tallinn as well, in Texas, USA, and in Poland as well. Our target market is North America and Europe. And we also had our presence in South Africa as well. So, but EyeVi Technology, in like easier words, is like a AI-powered platform for geospatial data production. So our solution, we provide our solution as SaaS, software as a service, for road infrastructure management. And let's see how it works. So that's what I was talking about. Like we have to figure out how many cracks are in the road, how many potholes are there. So these naming conventions and these things, they vary from European market to American market. That's why we have different products for like these both markets. But to get the point, it takes like roughly, if you have to digitalize all those, everything in your area, it takes almost 1 hour to digitalize 1 kilometer of road. And let's assume in your area of interest, there is like hundreds of kilometers. So that's where EyeVi Technologies, our solution comes in, because it has like accuracy of an engineer and efficiency of AI. So, but let's see how it works. So we have this, you can see on this card, there's this like small thing. This is our mobile mapping system. So this device has like a LiDAR sensor in it, and optical sensor for panoramic images. And you just have to mount it on, setting up is like really easy. You just have to mount it on the car and drive the way. So after you drive, all like it keeps capturing the data, all the point cloud data and the panoramic images, which is then the data set is collected by our software, which then goes to the EyeVi data flow software. This is actually a pipeline where we have like automated the process that we get the final output as like ortho photos, point cloud data sets, and the panoramic images. After that data set, we captured all this data. It went through this pipeline workflow. Finally, it goes to our AI module, where then it depends on the client or the product that how many of objects are we are going to classify. We are dealing with, let's say, road signs, or we are dealing with like road defects, whatever. After going through that process, where AI helps us to automatically classify all the data set, we get our final output as like in a web-based interface, where you have all the details of classified objects, their different categories and everything. Let's see how it goes. As I said, we have our own data capture. We may make our own hardware. So we have our own data capture software, where which is like the sensor. When it captures the data, it processes the data, which goes to our data workflow, where there are like 360 panoramic images, ortho photos, and all these data sets are like cleaned, and they with all this spatial information intact with it, it goes to the feature factory. We named it feature factory. This is our AI task. It depends on, as I said, like the client, that what they want to achieve with this data set. Let's say if they are more interested in only road signs, then only panoramic images would suffice. But if they are interested in road defects, then we want to get like the measurement and precision and accuracy. So we need like measurements in centimeters, like how much is the defect and everything. In that case, we use 3D data, point cloud data. And after all, these feature detection is based on like automated AI algorithms. And our whole process is like a cloud-based. So, and we'll finally get the output. So let's say this is like the final output, which we can say like we get like 360 panoramic images. We get point cloud data. You can see on your left, there is this like point cloud data automatically classified by using AI. That, okay, this is the road, this is ground and everything, ground, trees and everything. And on the right, this is actually the screenshot from our web application. So, and on the right, you can see the same thing with like featured extracts, where we can say like, okay, which is the road sign, the sign type, sign category. Even our algorithm can detect if there is like a damage on that thing to the road signs. And ortho photos, which are not shown here, but they are like just like satellite imagery, ortho strips of all the data, all the area where our car was driven and where we captured all this data set. And finally, we get like all those visualizes, those classified objects, and as a like your infrastructure management system, where you have all the details and everything. And this solution is like really cost effective and really time saving, I would say. Because let's say, I already gave the example. So, and this is like just like one practical example how combining spatial data and the power of artificial intelligence, it turned into like this time saving, cost saving, and a successful business model. So yeah. And in my part, I mostly deal with all this managing 3D data calibration, all this process automation and everything. So, okay, that's it from me. But before wrapping up, I would like to thank, I'm really sorry, it was like really short presentation, but you get the point. I would really like to thanks to the organizers of this event, this International Cooperation and Protocol Office. And in case if you're interested, you can just join the programs official webpage. That's also there. And you can always write to Madhli. She is the program manager, program director. And in case you have more general queries, you can always write to me on my LinkedIn. You're more than welcome. And thanks to you all for listening. And like, this is our university mascot. If like out of many reasons, this is also another cute reason to join University of Tartu. But anyways, thank you. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I will stop sharing now. Yes.
Okay, thank you so much, Hamza, for this exciting talk. As you already said, now it is time for some questions from our audience. And just a reminder, please type your questions to the Q&A box. And yeah, I will start with the first question. So it says, what are your course mates doing after graduation?
Most of them are like working in the industry. I am still in touch with most of my classmates. Few of them are here in Estonia. One of my course mate is doing PhD, so different things, whatever their interests are. So, but mostly are working in industry. I know 2 and 3, they went for like PhD thing, but others are working in industry.
Okay, thank you. So the next question is, how fast did you find a job after graduation?
Actually, I was working after my first year of, I was studying and working at the same time. So it depends, like what are your interests are, and like I won't suggest like it's like an optimal thing, but it's manageable. If you are responsible enough, you can manage your studies and you can manage your job as well. So, but it depends how you manage it. But for me, in my case, answering the question, I got it before the graduation.
Okay, thank you. So the next question is, which city do you like the most, Tartu or Tallinn, and why?
Okay, so this is like, I don't know how it relates to GIS, but yeah. So I would say when I first came in Tartu, because previously I said I was living in UAE, that's like a bigger city, and my hometown, that's also like bigger place. So when I first came in Tartu, I was like, it took time to adjust. But when you get adjust here, now even when I go to like Tallinn, Helsinki, or some other place, like some bigger cities, I don't like it. So that's also the thing. Like if you spend more time in Tartu, then you won't leave it. So I would say, yeah, I really love Tartu. So
I totally agree with you. Okay, the next question is, did you have an internship during your studies? If yes, where and how did you find it?
Okay, yeah. So there would be like an admission session also, like Q&A. You can ask these questions. They would answer these questions there as well. So in our program, there is like this mandatory work placement, which is like a mandatory part of the degree. And I've did my internship in Position. That is also a company in Tartu. And the thesis topic is also somehow related to that thing from my internship. So I did it with Mobility Lab. So, and the good thing is like the university really helps you find that internship.
Mhm.
And I know a couple of my colleagues, at least two, I'm not sure, but like a couple of my colleagues got the job after that internship where they were doing an internship as well. So.
Okay, great, thank you. So the next question, are there any specializations at your program? If yes, which ones and which did you choose and why?
Okay, so the thing is the specialization module is totally onto you. Like it's up to you. You have to tailor your own degree. This is also like a good thing, which I love for the fact I love this thing as well. There are like different labs actively working. There are like environmental domain, human mobility lab and everything. Because I was always into this data analytics thing. So that's why I've chosen that path. And the thing as well, because I've took like some courses from like other departments as well. So this is also a thing, if you don't know, that you can take from any department, you can take the course. So like I was taking from computer science department, like a couple of courses, then from this. So some of my friends, they took remote sensing courses from University of Tartu Observatory. So there are endless possibilities. The thing about that specialization thing is it's totally up to you, what interests you. And so let's say you are the one who would choose, who would decide that, okay, this is my interest and this is how I will tailor my specialization.
Okay, thank you. So next question, could you recommend some main research studies to read in AI, artificial intelligence?
Like I said, it have many like emerging domains, and like even the traditional where machine learning is used for like now a couple of years for like image classification, it still needs improvement. But like augmented reality and digital twins, they are like really, because they are still very young fields, I would say, and there is still a lot to do. But that's not the only thing. Again, I would say you would say that he's saying one thing again and again. It depends on your interest. Let's say if you have interest in environmental environmental data and that thing, then the applications would be different. If so, but I would say because I like that domain, the digital twins and asset management and these things, because and in self-driving vehicles, because that's a really young, and there is still a lot to do in that. So there are a lot of applications of using AI in there.
Okay, thank you. So next question is, are you planning to stay in Estonia?
I love Estonia. As long as Estonia is not kicking me out, yeah, I'm here. Especially Tartu. So the thing is like, it's like peace and quiet, and I have like a really good job where I love the work I do. So yeah, so far, yeah, I want to.
That's good to hear. So next question, do I need to know how to code before applying to this program?
I would say if you know, it would be good. But I know like there is one colleague of mine, she is right now a machine learning engineer actually, but she haven't had the background of she didn't knew the coding. She learned here, and so it depends on your interest. And if you're willing to put efforts, then the department and everyone, they would guide you along the way. So it is possible, it is really doable. But if you already have some knowledge, then it would be like more beneficial. But it's 100% doable. If you have zero programming knowledge, you can still learn it.
Okay, great, thank you. So next question is, do you plan to do a PhD in the future?
I have no idea. So because I don't plan like for like longer time, but so far I'm loving what I'm doing. So right now I don't think so, but maybe if that would like in future it would spark interest that I would go in research or academia, then maybe.
Thank you. So how did your admission process go? What was your experience?
Admission process, I would say like because I've graduated into 2021, so my knowledge on this would be little out of date. So I don't know if I can like answer this question.
Maybe you can just share your experience, like what you remember.
Like it was like pretty streamlined. It doesn't have any hassle or anything because everything is online. You just go apply. So for me, it was like I don't even remember, because if it would be like something difficult or that thing, I would have like some issues. Then I would remember, yeah, I had like that kind of issue. But it was like pretty streamlined and easy process. So yeah.
Okay, great. So next question is, who are EyeVi's customers?
So like I said, we have two different markets, because the road safety standards, there are like only differences in terminologies and those things. But we have different products for North America and Europe. We are currently with Triona. We have our one client in UK. We have did a project for Sweden, and we have like we are working now in USA as well. So, but let's say we are targeting two markets, North America and Europe, and we have like two different product managers for there. So currently we are targeting these two markets. We did one pilot project in South Africa as well, but right now we are not totally there, but because currently we are targeting these two markets. But we have Europe, like UK, Triona from like Finland, like we have many customers.
Okay, thank you. So next one is, could you give some tips on how to write a successful motivation letter?
The one tip would be, don't Google it. Yeah, just don't Google it and be honest. Just be honest that what interests you, why, whatever your goal is, at least you have like some foreseeable goal. And how this degree program can help you fulfill that course. Because in case if you would write some makeup, let's say motivation letter, and you don't have interest, then there is no point. You would just simply waste those 2 years. So just be honest. Just say how your interest, or whatever you want to achieve, this degree program can help you with. So that's like a pretty basic tip.
Thank you. So next question is, what were your favorite courses and why?
So two of my favorite courses were like from Department of Geography was Spatial Data Studio, because it is in a studio format. So I even like from my graduation, and like even when I was a high school student, I never liked those theoretical subjects. I was more of a like practical person. And even that's why my supervisors also struggled to help me with my write-up thing, because I was good in analysis. I was never good in writing stuff. So Spatial Data Studio, this subject is like it's a 15 credit subject, and it's totally in a studio format, and you have to go through the labs and everything. You have to do a teamwork, so it's really like grooms you. And the second one is spatial data analysis. I've also took one course from computer science department for data science. So I love these three courses, but there are plenty of other good courses. I guess like all courses are good, but these are like few ones which I remember.
Okay, thank you. So next question, what didn't you expect from the University of Tartu?
Sorry, can you repeat?
What didn't you expect from the University of Tartu?
What I didn't expect.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, that's the trick question. Like, I didn't expect them to be like too supportive. So, and I'm not saying that because when you are moving to a new place, you need to get adjusted to a new place and everything. So I wasn't expecting they would be way too nice. They support you at every step of the way. So also, I don't know if right now this is the thing, because at my time, it was the thing where they assign you a tutor also, like a student which is already here in Tartu.
Yes.
So he or she would guide you on the way, or even like for how to settle in and everything. So yeah, and that's an honest answer. So I didn't expect it that much, but yeah.
That's very good to hear. And yeah, I think there's a tutor for every year. So that should be a thing still. So next question, how is the student life in Tartu, and do you have any favorite social events?
Student life in Tartu is, because Tartu is pretty much a student town, so you always have this kind of a vibe. Even like I've graduated, like now it's like 1.5 years or something, but I still have the student kind of vibe in me. So it's like, and about the activities, I was part of like another student organization. I'm still part of like one organization. So there are a lot of activities. It depends on what your interests are. But whatever your interests are, there would be something for you.
Do you have any like events that are your personal favorite?
I don't know, like because I would say that would be like, because I was like I organized that event also with like Erasmus Student Network. There is like Estonian cultural evening. So, and when I first joined, and that I attended that event as like, let's say, as a not like as an organizer, I was a just spectator or participant kind of. So this gives you like first-hand experience, and so that's like one of my favorite events. But there are like plenty going on. So
Okay, great, thank you. So next question is, have you lived in a dormitory? And could you tell a bit about your experience of finding accommodation?
If you are applying on the right time, I never had this hassle. I've applied on time because I am a person with kind of a OCD. I have to do things on time and everything. So if you are applying on time and everything, so you get the dormitory. I've got like student dormitory, but if you don't get, then a housing situation can be a bit tricky. But if you are applying within like fair share of time frame, then it's easier. And I really love the dormitory life. Now I live in like private apartments, so I still miss it because all of my friends were there, and we were on the weekends, we would have some gatherings and everything. So yeah.
Did you live there for your entire studies?
I lived there for my entire studies. I used to live in Ratuse, where like there is also like kind of a one floor where this like Erasmus exchange students also come. So this also gives you more exposure, like you meet up with more people, more culture and everything. So I would say if you can get like a dormitory, then it would be a like really nice experience for you.
Okay, thank you. So next question is, do you speak Estonian, and is Estonian needed to find a job in Estonia?
Yeah, so I can't qualify I can't say for myself that I speak Estonian, but I know Estonian A2 level. I can speak like on the very basic level, but according to like, if an Estonian would hear me, then they would say, yeah, you don't speak Estonian. But about the second part, yeah, I speak Estonian. I have A2 proficiency, and I'm planning to take it to B1 and everything. About the second part, It depends. Let's say if you would, from like geoinformatics perspective, if you are looking for a job, let's say, because this geoinformatics have more applications, like more job opportunities here in, like, let's say in public sector, then definitely you would need Estonian. But mostly in IT sector, where you are doing like in like private company, like let's say I am working, so we don't need any Estonian here. Everyone speaks in English. Even like sometimes I feel a little bad for myself, because right now we are 3 foreigners, and because of us 3, the rest of everybody have to suffer, so they have to switch the language. But that's the thing, in IT sector and mostly like in the private domain, you won't need Estonian. But in case if you want to go to like public, then definitely you need Estonian.
Okay, thank you. So next question is, what is the most memorable thing from your studies at the University of Tartu?
I guess my whole study period was really memorable. At least, let's say, the first year, that's like really memorable, because after first year, most of my friends, they went on Erasmus, so everything was a bit dispersed. And then this COVID hit, so my other half of the studies were like online or hybrid kind of thing. But first, my first whole year is memorable.
Okay, thank you. So when you applied here, did you already know you want to stay in Estonia, or did it just happen because of a good job?
It happened. So I was working in UAE, and my initial plan was that I would get my degree and I would go back to Middle East. But then that's the thing about Tartu, you don't want to leave. So I got like a really nice job, and I like the environment here. So that's why. And maybe it's like something new for me, because I like, so far, I like cold weather. So that's also the reason.
Then you're at the right place.
Yeah.
So the next question says, I would like to do my master's in geoinformatics in the future. So I thought about doing some professional certificate like in data analytics to get to know about this field. So data analytics certificates would be fine, or do you recommend any other course before getting into this particular program?
I think in like my few classmates had like, they were from like bioinformatics and those domains, and they've also like, because this is actually, geoinformatics is an applied field. You can just, let's say, it's just like we say, this is like what we have this saying for like in geography, that it is like a language which let's say interprets, it's like a common language that integrates all the information of various sources. So that's what it is. You can definitely, if you want to do some online certification and those things, that can definitely help. But starting from this course, like at least for like first 1.5 semester or 2 semesters, you get to build up that kind of a foundation. And so if you are willing and you have this interest in this thing, then I guess like even without certifications, you can just do well. But definitely it helps. There are like, because there are multiple resources online and everywhere, so that definitely can help. And even if you are taking those beforehand, it will also help you make your profile bit stronger, that you already have that knowledge and everything.
Okay, thank you. So next question is, could you tell a bit about your master's thesis? When did you start writing it, and how did your defense go?
Okay, so about master thesis, we started like in the even from the like middle of second semester. So, but actually it's like in the third and fourth semester, but we started it from like middle of second semester. I finished my internship in Position, which actually is doing the same stuff like human understanding human mobility and those things. And that's how I've just reached to my supervisor, and they gave me they were doing at the time, because you can always keep an eye on these research groups. They are always doing some like really cool stuff. So if you have interest in that, so I luckily, because I did my internship there and everything, so in that domain, so I've just reached to my professor that, hey, I am interested in this certain thing. So, and that's how I did my master thesis. And my thesis defense went like pretty well. I would say definitely it's my thing, so I would obviously praise it. But overall, yeah, it went well.
Okay, thank you. So there is a question, could you name some modern techniques of analyzing environmental and urban processes?
For urban, I would definitely environmental is never my thing. I've always so yeah, that's the thing. I'm always, my interest was in, let's say, in GIS, in vector data and in data analytics. I never liked this remote sensing data and this environmental data sets. So there are like pretty much like many, even if you want to, if you pursue this degree, your degree here, there are like in urban data, there are like many, let's say, opportunities you would have. There is like mobility is using like mobile positioning data, ICT's data, smart cities, smart sensors data. So there you have like plenty of options. I am 100% sure there are like many options for environmental data as well. But since I am not specialized in that field, so I don't know that. But for this urban data analytics, there is a lot.
Okay, thank you. So do you think Estonia is expensive, or what's your opinion?
What's the benchmark? So let's say if it would be considered from my hometown, yeah, it would be expensive. If it would be, you would compare it with let's say Berlin or some other place, then it would be like very cheap. So it depends, like what are you saying, how, what is like the benchmark? So I really can't answer this question. Like overall, like living expenses are not that much if you would compare it like with other places. So I never found it like, but still I would say that's also like, where is the benchmark? So
What would you say like about a student who is only going to school and not working? Like, is it okay?
for them, yeah, it is. That's what I say, like out of many metrics, because when I was choosing for a study program, I got like the scholarship and everything, but I was still like, you have to still keep in mind like about the funds and those things. So that was also like the major thing, like a top ranking university, but and the country which is like, it doesn't break your wallet. So yeah, for that point of view, definitely it's way economical.
Okay, thank you. So the next question, what spatial analysis tools did you use for spatial data management?
So most of my career, I'm using Python and SQL, but there are like multiple QGIS, ArcGIS. The good thing about this thing is also like you can also get your hands-on experience, because mostly like in commercially they use ArcGIS Pro, so that's like a kind of a paid software kind of thing. So you also can get your hands-on experience on that as well. My mostly experience is with Python and SQL, but again, if you would like to go for like GIS web development, Then there is like Leaflet and those open source tools as well. And you get to learn that also. There is a course if you want to take in your study program. So, yeah.
Okay, thank you. So let's take this question. Was it difficult for you to work and study at the same time? And would you recommend working during the studies?
Like I would say, like ideally, if ideally, yeah, you should focus on the studies because that's your main priority. That's what you are here for. But the thing is, you still have to manage your expenses as well. For me, it was manageable, but if I would say, if I would have been like in the first semester, then it would have been like probably difficult for me, because my 1 year, like for my 2 semesters were almost done. At that time, I got the degree. At that time, I got the job. So that was more manageable. But at least for the first semester, when you are like settling in as well, the first semester, the coursework is also a bit intense. So I won't recommend it, but still it's manageable. It depends on a person. So if you are responsible enough, it's still manageable.
Okay, thank you. So I think we're gonna take the last question. So did you have a cultural shock when you moved to Estonia?
I did definitely had, like, because I was coming from Pakistan, then I was living in Middle East. So it's definitely like, let's say it's the opposites. So I had cultural shock, but it was in like kind of a positive way, I would say. So I didn't had like, definitely there was a culture shock, but it wasn't like something in like that maybe barged me from like settling in or like that thing. So yeah. I guess you're muted. Sorry. Oops.
Sorry.
Yeah.
There is actually one more question about your work, so let's ask that as well. Did you work full-time or part-time during your studies?
I was working full-time. So full-time, and I managed to do my degree as well. So
well done.
yeah.
Okay, so great. I believe we have covered almost all of the questions from our audience. I would like to thank our presenter Hamza for sharing his experience and for a great talk on an interesting topic. I hope you are enjoying this cold weather in Tartu. And yes, thanks to our audience for being with us today. And a few things before we wrap up. If you're a future student and planning to apply to this program this year, the application period has already started and the deadline is on 15 March. And there is also going to be a virtual meeting with the program director where you can ask any questions you have regarding the program. And we will also send you the information along with the recording of today's talk. So thank you again to everybody for joining us today, especially thank you to Hamza. And I wish you a nice evening.
Yeah. Take care. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.